Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chris Taylor, and I am the advocate of the devil. Playing the opposite side of things has plenty of upside. For one, I've been pleasantly surprised by the amount of times that other people actually agree with what I'm saying. Hey, I've had a lifetime of people telling me that I'm wrong. It's great to see what the grass is like on the other side of that particular fence. But then there are other times when I open my mouth super wide and set myself up for what could only be seen as something nigh impossible. Well, for an ordinary human being. And I am far from ordinary. A couple of weeks ago, in the video game adaptation episode, I mentioned the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I said it didn't suck. I said that I liked it. Hell, even further back, one of our viewers even requested it. Let it never be said that I don't give the people exactly what they want, whether they actually want it or not. So sit back, relax, pop some corn, and milk some duds, because today, we're defending Super Mario Bros. The movie. He's starred in some of your favorite games. He's cameoed in Nintendo properties far more often than Stan the Man Lee has showed up in Marvel movies. He's the man, the myth, the plumber, Mario! That's right, this movie, this piece of cinematic air quotes garbage that people just love to hate, it actually added to the lore of our beloved mascot of video gaming.
It's Mario and Luigi Mario.
Keep in mind, when the movie was released in 1993, the entire storyline of the Mario franchise could be summed up in a paragraph. King Koopa has kidnapped Princess Toadstool in the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario, a plumber, hence the pipes everywhere, must rescue her. The end. This wasn't a game like Final Fantasy, where there are several novels worth of dialogue, backstory, and hokey phrases and characters to flesh out. You're a fat guy dressed in red hopping on the heads of turtles and mobile mushrooms. From a gaming perspective, we had gotten as far as the SNES and Super Mario World. There were more enemies, the gameplay was more refined, and we got cooler power-ups and such, but that was it. There was no story to build off of. Now, the easy way out for any of this would have been to make it a cartoon, animate it and release it as a full-length feature film that way. Problem was, Disney was the undisputed king of cartoon cinema at that time, so unless the Big D themselves got involved, they would have gotten squashed. Besides, there are cartoon versions of the Mario Bros out there, and they're serviceable, I guess. Captain Lou Albano looked like he was having fun at least.
With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's a game, we're not like the others who get all the fame.
The point I'm trying to make, and that live action TV show, which also had a Zelda cartoon, which was super cheesy and filled to the brim with lame, which is awesome really, humor and a strong female lead.
Well, excuse me, princess.
Man, that just reminds me that I gotta find the DVDs for that. Sorry. The point that I'm actually trying to make is that they could have done things the easy way, the way we all expected them to, and they didn't. Which leads me to my second point. Mario isn't even really the hero in all this.
That does not make sense.
I know! As earlier stated, it's almost always been Mario rescuing PT, Princess Toad. You know what, she's called Peach from now on, so I'm just gonna stick with that. But in the live action movie, it's not our titular character making the saves, starting the hijinks. It's Luigi, played by John Leguizamo. Our lovable pest of a doofus is the one performing most of the heroic deeds, figuring out what needs to be done. And our damsel in distress? A human in the super psychedelic realm that is New York City. Not the Mushroom Kingdom, Earth. And it's not the normal princess that we're used to being told is just flat out in another castle. It's Daisy, who was originally in Super Mario Land, the Game Boy adaptations. This is where I feel like the movie had the potential to really set itself apart as something, maybe not perfect, but something worthwhile. For years before and after this movie, Luigi, the leaner, meaner, greener of the brothers, has played second fiddle. In the games, he's always player 2, but here, he's at the forefront. Random side bit here, I love me some Mario Kart, and the Mario Bros are usually the ones that are considered balanced. And what does Luigi say when he gets first place?
I'm a Luigi, #1.
I think that kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? If you look at the setting of these games and what's really going on here, personal opinion, it's fungus-infused druggings during the off days of a real-world plumber, it would be nigh impossible to translate that directly to the big screen. So instead of trying, the creators made their own version of things. We still got Bob-ombs, a reptilian antagonist, in a way. We got Yoshi, a dinosaur for Christ's sakes. We even got boots that showcase the signature move of our heroes, the jumping, and mushrooms, fungus helping the brothers out. The problem, in my opinion, isn't even the adaptation itself. My humble opinion, and my final point, the real reason why the film failed in the eyes of critics and fans alike falls solely at the blame of the fans themselves.
Woo, 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 what?
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you and me. Well, mostly you. I enjoyed this movie for what it is. I want you to remind yourself of another movie that is looked down on by the vast, or at least vocally, majority of people. Our very first episode of this show, the Star Wars prequels. We had spent years, decades even, imagining what other stories could have been told in the wider galaxy that George Lucas had originally created. Sure, we were lucky enough to get some books, but when we heard that new movies were being made,
Then everyone loses their minds.
and after all that time, nothing, not a single thing would have been good enough, because whether we want to admit it or not, the movie wasn't what we had imagined. It's not the stories that we had come up with in our own heads subconsciously. There comes a point where something becomes so big popularity-wise that the only place left to go is downhill. The video game industry, Nintendo hit that point once Sony became their direct competition in the mid to late 90s and the release of the original PlayStation. Expectations get so high that they can never, ever be met. Enter the Super Mario Bros. Movie, the most anticipated video game adaptation ever, based on the biggest video game character ever. Some say that if the producers and writers had just stuck with what was going on in the games, the movie would have been better. Nowadays, that's actually possible. Pixar has proven more than adequate at crafting a film with CG, and if they teamed up with Nintendo to make a CG-based movie on the franchise, it may actually meet expectations. But for its time, based on what it actually was, in trying to do something different, in straying from the path that would have been easier, I think the movie we got is entertaining, enjoyable, and worth watching. Despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary, I do hope I managed to shed some light into why the Super Mario Bros. Movie doesn't suck. Whether it be in what it added to the video game franchise, small though its contributions may be, or in the way that we got a movie starring the side character rather than Mario himself. The movie at least attempted to give us something that nobody expected. Something different. And if that isn't enough, maybe you should search inside yourself and ask one simple question. Could anything ever really be good enough when it comes to an adaptation of this magnitude? As always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for a new piece of my mind every Wednesday, and let your verdict be heard in the comments below. Am I just eating too many magic mushrooms to really see the truth? By all means, let your own views clash with my own, so that I may proceed to prove you wrong.
Kaboom! You've been lawyered.
But for now, in the case of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, the defense rests.
Something's coming up the plumbing, poor Luigi's in a bind. Giant turtles out to get him, creepy crabs are right behind. Spider flies, cheaper shites, they're all coming out the pipes.
Mario, where are you? It's Atari Mario Brothers with Mario from Donkey Kong, his brother Luigi, and lots of crazy creatures.